Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Sports Week here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Chris Commons will appear in green and white tomorrow for Hibernian. Just how easy will it be to gauge success or failure for the new SFA Performance Director of Football, Malky Mackay? And the weekend starts here as far as the Premiership football concerned. It's Hamilton against Rangers at New Douglas Park tonight. We'll be discussing that among other emerging stories today in the company of Alan Ruff and our Friday Bootroom guest as ever, Hugh McDonald. And we've got a look back over the festive period at the best of 2016. It's just, to be honest with you, Hugh, just riddled with you and me arguing on a Friday. It's incredible.
And let's hope that continues into 2017, YouTube.
Yeah, there's a line you never thought you'd hear on the show. Absolutely, we've had a few of them. Let's first of all talk about Chris Commons, because suddenly the story that's been doing the rounds for more than a few months, it's an emergency loan. It looks as if everything's A-OK for him to make his debut for Hibs.
Yeah, and you would like to think if he could get back to the form that he had, he'll be a massive asset in the running. Obviously, with McGinn being out and McGeoch being out, you know, they need somebody in there, and looks as if it's a wee pals act sort of a thing with Neil, but I'm sure he won't be bothering, and the people who'll get the benefit will be the Hibs supporters, because he is a terrific player.
Yeah, you might mention it as an old pals act, but I think it's a big shift on the wages Celtic must be taking on this one.
Yeah, I'd love to see the fine print of this. You know, who's paying what, and you know, and you know how much Celtic are contributing to, which will be a hefty wage. Chris Commons, very interesting one, going to the Championship as well, because everybody's been talking about how, I think, and we all agreed, Dundee United and Hibs drawing clear. The big point now is to finish top of that division. So anything you can get to shift you on. They did it last year. They tried it last year with Stokes. Didn't win the Championship, but he basically won them the Scottish Cup. So, yeah, a fascinating one. Fascinating.
Yeah, I wonder if it will hinder any other transfer targets they have in the January window, Hugh.
Well, it all depends on which they're contributing towards that wage. I mean, you know, what do we think Chris Commons is on at Celtic? The best, well, 5 figures? 5 figures a week?
Easily. And if anything, it would be a fraction under, well, would it be, well, definitely under Scott Brown.
Aye.
So what we're talking, 25?
Should we put him as high as that? I was thinking maybe 10 to 15, but I mean, whatever it is, I mean, it's academic with Hibs, because they couldn't afford, you know, I mean, what are you talking about? Hibs maybe paying $2,000 for him, or $3,000?
No, but you're balking at maybe I'm way out on 25 grand, but this is 2 years ago the Player of the Year.
Exactly. I know, exactly, and you never really know, because it's like, you know, people were talking about when Charlie Mulgrew left as well, when he was coming up to his contract renewal. His contract last renewal was on a Player of the Year wage, and so he'd have been up at the 15s before he was going. So you might be. I'm not balking at it. I'm just saying it certainly is going to be. It's from anything from 10 to 20. So.
Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, Celtic are winning games right, left and centre. They're on this 19-game unbeaten domestically, Ruffy, so you can afford to actually swallow up any bad press that comes your way if Commons hits the ground running for Hibs and starts firing goals as if they're out of fun. But, you know, there is a story to be told. I wonder when he will tell it, but this is a boy who was Player of the Year, and after that fallout, in the touchline when he was substituted, you know, there was a very short space of time, and then he was jettisoned out of that Celtic side, nowhere to be seen. And then over and above that, he had put in a good pre-season, because we saw him at the boxing.
Yep.
He looked slim, he looked fit.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you know, that we know, you know, that he was Celtic's trump card in European football. You know, every time there was nothing happening, you flung him on, or he did something special, and then all of a sudden, when Ronny Delia came, you know, he didn't fit the plans, he didn't fit, you know, the system, and it looks as if it's the same with Brendan Rodgers. And I don't think for a minute that Chris Commons isn't a guy who works particularly hard at training. I think he would give you 100%. So it seems to be, you know, it's a formation thing more than anything else. But the more he gets back playing football and people can see what he can do, I mean, I don't know what's in his thoughts for the rest of his career, whether it's just to stay up here or go down south or whatever. You know, but he needs to be playing football. That's the main thing.
I think when he, when he gets down to it, he'll want to stay up here and coach.
Oh, you know him, and that wouldn't be an outlandish proposition. I know he's happy up here. I think I agree with Alan. I think his card was marked. I think there was no chance of Brendan Rodgers picking him. I mean, Brendan Rodgers has brought back people right down to Gary Mackay-Steven that everybody thought was out with the washing, but he's never went near Chris Commons. Even Shifchi has had the odd wee game, but Commons has had nothing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Nadir Shifchi, because obviously John Kennedy was speaking ahead of the weekend's fixtures and talking about the fact that the striker could be looking at a January move.
Well, I think from Nadir's perspective, he's obviously disappointed in the game time he's had, but we've had Lee and Musa fit most of the time. Ryan at times can play in there, Ryan Christie. So, we've got options there who are going very well. Nadir's obviously found himself on the sidelines, and I certainly know Nadir, and they want to play football. He's at a stage in his career where they want to play. So, I think it'll be something Nadir will look to, maybe the possibility of, going and getting game time somewhere, because for the time being, obviously we've got other strikers there who are playing in front of him, and knowing the character Nadir is, he'll want to get out and play on the pitch again.
Career, and Scott Allen, there's another one.
Yeah, I mean, John Kennedy, the translation of that is, here's Nadir's leaving card, and we want to sign it. I mean, it really is.
You're a harsh man.
But it is, I mean,
yeah,
it is as simple as that.
Yeah.
To use that cliche enigma, but I thought there was something in Shifty at one point. I thought
Did you?
Yeah, I know you were. I thought there would just be a chance, but he was given his chance at Celtic. People forget that. He had a fair run of games, and he's never been able to do it. He's got no chance of getting the number 9 slot at Celtic, because Lee Griffiths finds it, a man that scored 40 goals, finds it tough enough to get it.
Yeah.
So even if Dembele goes on the wane, which as a 20-year-old he can, they've got Lee Griffiths there. Even if Lee gets injured when Dembele's out, they can move Scott Sinclair into centre forward. There wouldn't be a problem him playing number 9, so he's got no chance.
Isn't that a great line you just said there? Even if Dembele's on the wane, he's on the wane right now. They're waiting for him to. I mean, I'm not saying he's playing bad. I'm just saying he's not. He's not
sensational.
He's not 6 weeks ago where everybody's going, oh, he's 20 million. He's this, that, the other.
But he's the kind of guy that could come back like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be he maybe plays tomorrow and he scores a hat-trick. He can come back. I would not be in any way worried about his dip in form. None at all. I think he's a 20-year-old kid. He's come into a new environment. He's played Champions League this year, etc., and he's proved what he has.
Okay, 2 quick points on that. Could Commons make the difference for Hibs as far as this run-in, or do they need additional players over and above him?
Additional. I think obviously McGinn out, McGee out, and I've got another couple out as well. I think the more players you can get, the better. And
as far as Celtic against Dundee in the Premiership, everybody's itching for a game. There's even talk. I mean, I thought it was amazing. Apart from the players that everybody could write down on a piece of paper who could be going out the door, there was also a story this morning in the papers about Szymanowicz attracting attention once again from Torino and maybe other suitors. But I think Celtic would like to hold on to him.
Oh, they'll definitely hold on. Celtic are not going to get rid of anybody they don't want to get rid of in the January window, simply because they don't have to.
Yeah, taking on Dundee, Paul Hartley says the difficulty for him is to try and second guess Brendan Rodgers, because he's changing tactics, he's changing formation, he's got the players that can play these different formations.
Yeah, and we've heard some of the managers there, when you play Celtic at Parkhead, it is a backs to the wall now. You're hoping your goalkeeper has a great day, you're hoping your defence play particularly well, you get a wee rub of the green, but Celtic are going to get chances, particularly at home. They're creating maybe 20 chances a game, and 9... maybe 9 out of 10, but a good majority of them are going to hit the target. And so Dundee will be relying on maybe a breakaway or something like that, but you just can't see it.
This talk of invincibles is gathering pace, Hugh, as we speak. I know a number of people. It's easy to say it can't be done. I mean, I think the odds are stacked against Celtic going through the entire season without losing a domestic game. How do you feel about it?
I think it's possible, Peter. I think it can be done. I think it can be. But remember, the difficulty, the reason it's not been done before is all you need is one bad Saturday. Yeah. I mean, just when you win a bad game, even when Neil Lennon's team were beating Barcelona, they were getting put out of League Cups such as Morton, and you just sometimes have a day where nothing goes right. Football's a peculiar game that way. That's why it's so hard to do. But in terms of quality, I mean, I think they're a distance ahead of anybody else in the league.
Yeah, Ruffy?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the players who are coming in are better than what they were as well. We're talking about the 11 that are playing, but the guys in the sidelines are much, much better players.
Okay, first part of the programme almost done and dusted, talking about Hibs and Celtic. We're going to talk Hamilton Rangers after the break. We'll also talk about Hearts as well. Second part as well, we'll talk about the new SFA Performance Director. And of course, get ready for the fireworks. Hugh hasn't had a ding-dong battle with me yet, but it's coming, believe me. Join us after the break on Peter and Ruffy's Sports Week. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Sports Week. Hugh McDonald is our book room guest on a Friday. We try and cover the best of the sports stories from the week, as well as looking ahead to the weekend's football. Join us if you can tomorrow on the programme. Alan Ruff, Gordon Smith and Alec Ray will be our pundits for the Saturday football show. Hopefully you can join us, STV, 2 o'clock. Malky Mackay, what's your take on it?
My take on it isn't important, and I'll tell you why. My view on it isn't important. The view that should have been sourced, I would love to hear the view of a Scottish supporter who has an Asian background, or a Scottish supporter who's gay, and see what their reaction would have been to this. I think it's easy for us, because I'm in the camp of just saying, oh, it's time to move on, it's time to forgive and forget. But it's not really us he's insulted, you know, and it's not really us he's had a go at. So I am certainly much in the camp of redemption. I mean, I've been so grateful for redemption in my own life that I'm not going to give anybody else a second chance. But I think it's easier for us than maybe for the people I insulted.
Are you suggesting then that Asian people or gay people should be judge and jury?
I think we should look at what impact it has, you know, how hurt they were. Do they believe this is looked beyond the pale? Do they believe that, I mean, for example, we'll all agree that you can't employ a homophobic racist into the SFA. You just can't do that. Can you employ a rehabilitated homophobic racist? I think you can. I think you can move on. But again, it's easy for us to say that. We weren't the guys that looked at. I mean, these texts were directed at certain communities, and I don't know. I actually don't know the degree of hurt that they may have had.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, I'm not Malky Mackay's defence lawyer, because the only thing that interests me in the appointment now, because I am very much of the second chance, and I don't believe for a minute he's a racist. And that's just from knowing him for a long number of years. Whether there's something, you know, in the background that I haven't been privy to, who knows? You know, you can never truly say, you know somebody 100%. I mean, Ruffy and I have been hanging about together for 4 years. Do I really know everything about him? No, I don't. But what I would suggest at this point is, I think there is more positive about him that is worthy of it, and there's been more positive action from him that deserves a second chance. And over and above that, you can sometimes work out people who have a certain false attitude to try and, you know, put a smoke screen up and do positive things to try and spin it around. But I don't think people in Show Racism the Red Card in Scotland or in the general, the British organisation would offer their backing glibly as well. He's been very proactive.
I don't think they offered the backing glibly, but I bet they were approached by the SFA to make their backing known before the appointment was made, and I bet they were sounded out there. And we know that Show Racism the Red Card has got a very close relationship with the SFA. The other campaign that came out and backed him was the campaign, of course, where he underwent the rehabilitation. So they're going to say, well, you know, we've rehabilitated this man. Yeah. I mean, I think there's been a lot of heat and not much light in this conversation. And again, I'm not setting myself up as a moral standard bearer for anybody. I've had so much a flawed life, I just couldn't do that. Yeah. And I'm a great man for redemption, because I've had redemption in my own life, you know, so I've got no qualms about that. But I think the voice that hasn't been heard is maybe the voice of Scotland supporters who have an Asian background, Scotland supporters who may be gay, who may look at this and see this as a huge insult. I don't know. We've not heard them.
Okay, let me just, before I talk about the actual job that he has in hand, let me flip it on one aspect of it that I was interested to get your point of view on in this. Are the SFA, Stuart Regan and the rest of that board, guilty of hypocrisy? Because the general feeling is how can you hire a man with this background, yet you went out of your way to sack the likes of Hugh Dallas for his forwarded email?
Yeah, I think they open themselves up to investigation about. I mean, the thing about this is obviously they were desperate to appoint Malky Mackay. There can be no doubts of this, because not only do we have this stuff in the background, the past, the home week, full week, and the racist stuff in the past, in the present we've got a real wrangle over transfer fees. Now, Malky can say there's not a shred of evidence in it, but it's going to the High Court. And there's obviously nobody can tell how that's going to play out. So if you came, if you were searching for a producer here, Peter, and the guy came up to you and said, "Well, I'm actually just being rehabbed for homophobic and racist language, and I'm in court next week, me accused of diddling my former employer."
Yep.
You'd have to have pretty good reason to throw away other candidates to go with that one. So obviously the SFA are very keen on them, think that they can bring some.
Yeah.
But if you're keen in that and you bring some, you've got to be aware of the risks.
Yeah, absolutely. But is this is a sensitive area on this one. Is there maybe something that Malky Mackay? This is the skeleton possibly in the cupboard. Are we now in a situation where there's a worry that if Vincent Tan is relentlessly pursuing him at strategic points in his life, that there's something else to come?
Well, that's
a worry.
I would love to have been at the Malky Mackay press conference yesterday, but I'm not part of that.
I was.
I would love to have said to him, "Malky, why does this guy hate you?" And it doesn't. I mean, the whole nub of this. And when you make calls to Cardiff, when I was a working, full-time journalist, and the Wigan stuff came up, I was talking to people in Cardiff saying, "How's Tan going to take this?" And the feedback I was getting is, this is this is Buzz Lightyear. It's to infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
This is not going to end.
Yep. Well, absolutely. I wonder how the court case will pan out. But as far as judgment elsewhere on the job itself, we all want a successful Scotland, Ruffy. I think it's going to be very difficult to judge success or failure and late at Malky Mackay's door.
No, but we have to be seen to be doing something. Brian McClare was in there, and the feedback we were getting for him, it was very, very difficult to get the clubs all to work in the right direction with the SFA. So he identified at his press conference he's going to go around every one of the clubs, see what they're actually thinking and what their views are, and then maybe there's a middle ground here where we all can help each other, because we're led to believe that Brian McClare saying he was wasting his time, because none of the clubs were, well, not none of the clubs, but a lot of the clubs were happy to do their own thing, and you just do your own thing. Because they were looking after themselves, is usually what's happened in football. So Malky's got the job of trying to bring them all together for the better good of Scottish football.
I think, we're well aware that there are clubs who act out of self-interest. That's fine, it's your normal reaction. But as far as suddenly you get a report card and you go, "Okay, Malky, did you take these seminars where you're able to talk in front of a clipboard?" Yes. Yeah. Were you able to put cones down and show people various ideas that you have? Yes. Did you come up with various things that you could implement in soccer academies? Yes. Malky, have you come up with a Kenny Dalglish or a John Robertson of Nottingham Forest that suddenly can play for Scotland and change our abysmal record? Is that Malky's remit?
That's what, unfairly, that's 10 years down the line, that's what it'll be judged on, but obviously probably be out the job by then. But the real classic thing about this job is, nobody really knows what the job's about, including the people who get the job.
I'd like that job, Hugh.
It was a tough one. Another one is that the aims of the SFA are diametrically opposed to the aims of the member clubs who make up the SFA. And we all have to do to that is state one word: Motherwell, right? Motherwell's aims is to sustain themselves as big, bringing on their own players, whether it be a Chris Carden, a Jamie Murphy or whoever, or it's a player like Irwin they buy in and sell them on. And that's what keeps the lights on at Motherwell. Now, to kind of say to people like that, the priority now is to play whatever, 4-2-3-1, and to play out for the back, and to play young Scottish players in your first team, and to bring them through, you go, whoa. That doesn't apply to any club in Scotland.
Yeah, I think overall his remit will be, or this, Project Brave should be, take your ball and away and work at your skills, and take people on, and let's see some great technical ability. And as I was speaking to the Scotland manager, maybe look for athletes who also have a good touch, but have, as he called it, a core strength to be able to compete with the other athletes who are playing in other countries and excelling.
Yeah, but as you just said there, if I just say for talking's sake, I was Marky Mackay and I went to Celtic, I would like to think that Celtic would say, we are doing that. Our coaches are doing that. You know, Hibs would say, our coaches are doing everything you're telling us. No, we're not that daft. We've got very, very experienced coaches. We're looking where abroad, where the success is. So he's got a hard task convincing all the other clubs that he's practically going to the clubs and saying, look, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right, and you're not doing it right. This is what you should be doing. And that's a difficult one, getting into clubs.
Yeah, just briefly on that, Ruffy, the biggest problem you'll have as well is you've got such a tight league that managers are not necessarily going to start throwing Scottish youngsters in there, and that's the biggest problem that the English Premier League has as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we spoke about it on numerous occasions. You know, if you're not playing regularly at a certain level, you're not going to get anywhere. And our problem are that our elite teams, our 19s, 17s, are not qualifying for major tournaments.
Okay, I'll get your thought on that just after the quick break, Hugh. We're going to look at the Premiership games, Championship, League One and League Two as well. It's all to come with Hugh McDonald, our Bootroom guest, right after this quick break. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Sports Week. Hugh McDonald is our Bootroom guest. He's been an ever-present over the course of 2016 and delighted that he's still with us, hopefully into 2017 as well. You never know, there could be a lucrative offer somewhere, Ruffy, that takes him away from us, and the good thing about Hugh is, there is no such a thing as loyalty.
Yeah, well, the only hope we have got that he enjoys coming in here. You know. I mean, he has his moments, but we
I think the big danger is a wee bit of ice and I go down in my hip. Because I wouldn't survive that.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
broken hip, I wouldn't survive that, not at my age.
And
a
the
bad
good thing
chesty
is-
cough.
The good thing about enjoying it, Ruffy, he likes coming into a place where we tell him whether he's good or rank rotten.
Usually the latter.
The last thing you want is to go to an establishment where there's just all sycophants who think he's great.
You're right.
You don't want that.
You have to make him believe we are reading his column every week as well.
That's exactly. Not going to reading it this week, Ruffy, I'll tell you that. That's a start. This is Stonewall's Hey, we've cracked it now, haven't we? We're going to really bitchy about this one. Great to have you here, Hugh. Let's talk about the Premiership, because it all kicks off Hamilton against Rangers, and Martin Canning says they're ready for the rough stuff. Now, this is obviously just a nice little angle on the Joe Garners. Mark Warburton mentioning that Joe Garner puts himself about. I did mention on the programme that quite simply, you can be the roughest, toughest, comparable to Andy Gray you want. If you don't score goals for Rangers, your longevity is not going to be there.
Absolutely not. And the rough stuff now is of an element of boys of Alan and myself's vintage. It's like playground in the creche kind of stuff, compared to what rough stuff up was at one time. Although Joe Gardner has got a habit of, and I think referees are spotting it, of leading with his arms, so that'll be interesting tonight. I think Hamilton, the background's all rough stuff, and we've always got to have something to write about. Background's a wee bit more interesting than that, because I think Hamilton are proving themselves really tough to beat. I mean, I think performance against Celtic and getting, leaving Celtic Park with a narrow defeat will set them up nicely for this in their home ground. They've beat Aberdeen there already this season. I would still take Rangers to win because they're in a good run of form. Yeah. But it's an intriguing game.
Yeah. Can I ask you this? Do you think Joe Garner is? I mean, he's winning over the fans because he's battling away. Do you think he's done enough? He's been given enough time, and we're seeing the best of him, or do you think genuinely he will turn into a goal scorer?
I think he's in the wrong movie, and I think you can see already that Mark Warburton is tweaking his team to suit what Garner's strengths are. He's playing, Miller near him. He's not going for this, expansive 4-3-3 where the number 9 is basically on his own. He's trying to now support. They're even playing a bit long term now as well, which is his strength. So I think if he gets tweaked, that system's tweaked, I think he'll do all right because he's a championship striker.
Yeah.
I mean, he scored goals in the championship, so he should score goals up here. But as you say, at Rangers, if you're the number 9, or the centre forward at Rangers, you've just got to score goals.
Well, I mean, I was actually thinking about it last night when we come off air, Ruffy. I mean, I'm thinking about Rangers strikers partnerships. I mean, Derek Parlane scored goals. Derek Johnson scored goals for fun. Ali McCoy scored them. Haley scored them. Mo Johnson scored them. Kenny Miller scores goals.
Yep.
You've got to score goals, and I think minimum everybody should expect of somebody like Joe Garner, if you're a Rangers player, is minimum 10.
Oh, goodness, aye.
Yeah. First season you would get away with 10. After that you wouldn't, because if you look at the stats after every game, Rangers and Celtic, chances created, no shots at goal, you've got to think that the striker's going to be in or thereabouts. So, yeah, in a season, at minimum you're looking at 20 if you're up and running and your team's playing well, and Rangers are playing well just now.
I saw him at Firhill when the Rangers won 2-1 at Firhill, and I can't remember a real chance that he had. I mean, he was flicking balls on. There was a lot of times, see when Rangers broke on Partick Thistle, there was a lot of times where he couldn't get up and into the box because he was playing just the way that he was set up.
Yeah.
And it was really strange that day because you were saying Dodu came on and scored 2, of course, but it was strange that day because you said to him, I was watching him quite close. I said, I really can't judge this guy as a player because he's playing so far out of the box. I'd love to have got one of these analytical things, how many touches he got inside the box, because he didn't seem to get many for me.
Yeah,
but a lot of good strikers will tell you they thrive in supply.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's got to be a style of play. That you look at Kenny Miller's goals, balls have got to come into the box. They've got to come into the box in certain areas when they're a half a yard sharper than everybody else.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's strange you saying that, Ruffy, because I've known a few good strikers in my time. One of my long-time friends scored goals for fun at Hearts, and Robbie used to say to me, I'm just going to be in the 18-yard box and I'm not going to move because that's where I get paid, scoring goals in the penalty box. I don't get, unless you're a special striker who can, you're an Aguero who can beat 2 or 3 men, you're a Lionel Messi or a Neymar or a Suarez at the absolute top end. But, Robbo used to say, Ali McCoy says, on more than a few occasions, in the penalty box, that's where the ball will come, I'll score a goal.
No. But coaches now, Alan will tell you, I've actually heard coaches, top class coaches, say, when you say to them, well, he doesn't score very many goals, and they look at you as if you're daft. Go, I mean, you all go on about number 9 scoring goals, he's not there to score goals, and you go, am I really that thick? I think he is there to score goals. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I see where they've got to do other things now. Number 9s have to drop deep and have to pick up the ball and have to link up and have to make channel runs. Don't get me wrong, I do see that. But I think if you're a big club and you've got, even if it's not the number 9, we know they're now number 23s now, but if you're the centre forward, come on, you've got to be scoring goals.
It's like managers who say the player that you're talking about is at his most effective when he's not on the ball. Hearts against Partick Thistle, as I mentioned, Robbo there. It's a debut at Tynecastle for Ian Cathro. They'll get a look at a team that they're expected to defeat, Ruffy.
Yeah, but they've been good at home. Hearts have been very good at home. They seem to wear teams down and then nick a goal in the second half and then nick another one after that. They're very professional in everything they do. Thistle will be a difficult one for them, but I think Alan Archibald will tell us they've got not a bad record down there. There have been occasions when they have nicked something out of the game, and it is a day when even a draw would be a good result for Partick Thistle.
Yep, here's the Thistle manager on the game.
We'll get behind them. There'll probably be a good atmosphere. There always is at Tynecastle, but it'll probably be a wee bit added edge to it with being Ian's first game. So we just need to make sure we prepare the players for what will be. They'll look to come out the traps really quickly. Okay, that's Alan Archibald. I think they're up against it. I think Partick Thistle will have to. We're talking about goal scorers. I think they'll have to invest in something in the January window.
It's been a long-standing problem at Thistle over the years. They've been really good throughout the team, and then you know, they've had, was it Lyle up front who went back down to England, and Chris Doolan has scored certain goals, but to have a regular goal scorer, but that's the real difficulty in football generally, and it is in the bottom league, is like it's difficult to get regular goal scorers, because as soon as you get a regular goal scorer, it'll be off, you know, because somebody will buy him. So that'll be a perennial problem for Thistle, because regular goal scorers cost a lot of money, and if you unearth a little gem, somebody's going to be off it quick. I've actually watched Thistle a lot this year. They've been the team I've watched more than anybody else. I've paid into the gate because Mr. Ruff would not. He said to me, "I'm not going to taint my legend status at Firhill by being seen anywhere near you." So I've had to go anonymously in the gate to watch them, and I think they've been playing not only some really good stuff, but really some good players there as well. But again, as you say, need to score, need to pick up the points, and I can't see them doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, Ross County, Aberdeen. You know, me, Ruffy, I've been critical of Aberdeen over the last few weeks, and you wouldn't bet against them slipping up.
No, these are the kind of games that they will slip up. Ross County have obviously a bit of fire in their belly when they play Aberdeen. They're not playing particularly well just now. And again, you're looking for the big players at Aberdeen to come up with the goods, and if they've got any thoughts of being second in this league, these are the games they have to win.
Okay, St Johnstone against Motherwell. Of course, managers get a little worried when they get a few injuries, but thankfully for Tommy Wright, he's highlighting the fact that he's getting players back.
Danny Swanson, Paul Payton will do full training today and tomorrow. Danny, if he comes through it okay, I'll make an assessment tomorrow on him. I want to make sure he's 100% just with that type of injury he's got, the hip injury. And with so many games coming up, I want him to be 100%. But there's every chance Danny could make it, and Paul will certainly be back in the squad.
I think he's one of the best managers in the division.
Absolutely, for me he is. I think in the last 5 years, he's been the best manager in Scotland. Simple as that. You know, over the period, we know Brendan Rodgers has come in and made a huge impact and has an incredible pedigree, which he's backed up. But I mean, consistently over a period of time, to me, he has been the best manager.
After the break, we'll hear from Mark McGee on James McFadden. So many of the players that we watched making their debuts as youngsters are now contemplating becoming coaches and eventually managers in their own right. We'll hear what the Motherwell boss thinks of his assistant, and we'll look down all the other divisions in Scotland next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Sports Week. Hugh McDonald is here with us in the studio. Don't forget, on Saturday we're on at 2 o'clock on STV, 4 hours, giving you the best of the football action. Alec Ray, Gordon Smith and Ruffy will be with me tomorrow from 2. We're talking about St Johnstone taking on Motherwell. Are there any players that you can think of that you thought he'd never be a manager?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because there's players where you just think, he'll not sort of go through it, and a lot of them don't actually. I'm just trying to think of one who's really succeeded that I thought wouldn't be a manager.
Nothing off the top of my head.
I'm just trying to think somebody who's really succeeded I didn't think would succeed. I don't think that's. I think you get a sense of them as players that they're thinking about the game, they're doing their badges, they're coaching, and there's other guys where you think, they'll just not go into it.
Well, I mean, you look at the Spanish La Liga, and I think Zidane managed Real Madrid's B side, and then people were questioning whether he was actually going to go on to become the Real Madrid manager, and it's like hand in glove. He's just duck to water. He's been at the top of the league, in with a chance of winning it, still in with a chance of winning the Champions League again. He was a world class star, and then you look at James McFadden. I think James McFadden comes into the category of a maverick. One of those players, gifted ones that you think.
Absolutely gifted and absolutely a smashing player technically. But you always got the sense from James, and I don't know him very well, but you always got the sense from him that he was a thinker about the game. Even, he wasn't just a guy that, there was more there was more depth to James.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about James intellectually is that you would say, yeah, he might go on and be a manager, even though he was that maverick type of player. I mean, one of the great mavericks of all time would be John Robertson, and he did not bad in his managerial career, albeit as a number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I'm just trying to think of somebody that's really. I can't think of somebody that I thought you're an absolute no chance.
Yes. And then transformed it.
I don't think I can remember any of them, because generally they don't go into it. They know themselves. Like you could say, like Matthew Letizia.
Yeah.
You just know Matthew Letizia was never going to be a manager.
Maka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would fall into that. He would fall into
Yeah.
that.
I'm not being unkind to
No,
Frank.
it's just no.
It's just I never thought he would look and say.
See, and
you know,
yeah, if you listen to him about football, he knows the game, and he made a lot. He made all his money out of anticipation, seeing what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what he made his career on,
Yeah.
and that's a football brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just with that in mind, here's Mark McGee's take on James McFadden.
Well, I mean, going back to my ban, he's with 2 games and he's only 2-0 so, you know, I think that says it all. He needs to be better, you know. You know, Faddy's young, you know, he's younger even when there's been a lot of talk about a lad at Hearts, and I don't think that he can be too young, but he is young. I started when I was 34 in management at Reading. Faddy's 33, but he's loving it.
Yeah, he's loving it, and long may it continue.
Coming back to your question, somebody that was a maverick, a dafty, an idiot, that became a really good manager.
Yeah.
Alan Rough. I was down at Ayr on Monday at Ayr Academy, and Ruffy's a legend down there. It was all Glenafton supporters
Yes.
there, all talking about Ruffy the legend as a manager.
Yes.
There's a guy's coming to, my name's John Murray. I tell Alan I was asking for him. He's a legend in the junior ranks down there. So there's one.
Well, to be fair, by the way, I think you encapsulated, you know, so many qualities there,
he's
especially when you said dafty. You know, that's fantastic. But Ruffy?
Yeah, I loved it down there. It was great, you know, and anybody in junior football, that's why I'm very passionate about junior football. I know what it means to the community. We were fortunate enough in that era to get to 3 Junior Cup finals, which is not unheard of unless you come from Auchinleck or somewhere else. But for our wee place, New Cumnock, you know, who isn't any of the size of any of the other ones, to get to the achievements that we had was great, and you could see the community benefited from it.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the answer I was looking for. I was wanting you to respond to him calling you a dafty, but nevertheless, to your point, Ruffy.
He just couldn't. That's irrefutable. It's just like these lawyers are. He's got his lawyers here saying, "Don't go with that. Don't go." That's Veritas. That's Veritas.
And it was just when you said Maverick, I stopped walking about in that cowboy suit.
Okay, last call on this Kilmarnock against Inverness Cali Thistle. Of course, Richie Foran's been keen to highlight the problems that he's had with his goalkeepers getting them fit, especially Owen Fawn Williams.
Fawn Williams, he had a jog today. He's feeling okay, so we'll push him on again a bit tomorrow. Ryan has still got his groin strain, so he's struggling a wee bit. But we've got Dan Hoban there, who can step in as a reserve if Fawn Williams can't make it. But I'm sure he'll be okay come Saturday. But not fully fit, but he'll get through it. Fawn Williams has been that good for us. He's won us lots of points this season, so we need him even at 70%, 80%. He can still do a good job for us. We had a good chat with him. We had a good chat with the physios and doctors. So he wants to play. He wants to train. He wants to be part of it. So I trust him. I trust he'll be okay, and we need him in goal.
Ruffy, can a goalkeeper play at 70% fit?
Well, he'll have to, because they've not got any options. He looked a bit poor at the first goal last week, but he had 2 or 3 good saves after that. But it just shows you that you're all beginning to realise if you've not got a decent goalkeeper, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It just shows you you're all.
Yeah, all of you. Yeah, nothing like that.
It's just like he's screaming at the clouds now.
Well, just
Where's that moon? I want to shout at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like a broad generalisation on this programme. Okay, Ruffy, we take your retort there and slap across the face. If he's fit, then he's in. It's as simple as that. As far as the fixtures are concerned, here's what to look forward to in the Premiership tomorrow, as well as Hamilton Rangers tonight, Celtic Dundee, Hearts Thistle, Killie Inverness, Ross County Aberdeen and St Johnstone against Motherwell. I'm sure the Hibs fans were all going there in great numbers anyway to take on Morton tomorrow. The game of the day in the First Division, Wraith against Dundee United.
Yeah, interesting game, especially as Dundee United seem to be adopting the Wraith formula from last year. Ray McKinnon racking up a lot of narrow victories, which is what Wraith Rovers did towards the end of the year. That'll be a smashing game tomorrow.
Yeah, forgive me for just going back into my youth there. Championship was what I should have said instead of the First Division. What about League One? This is what's on offer for you. Alloa against Queen's Park, Brecon City Stranraer, East Fife Peterhead, Livingston Airdrie and Stenhousemuir Albion Rovers. Did you pick up on that story about the investigation into possibly maybe a breach of the 150-year code at Queen's Park? A pound or two has been paid.
But I mean, that amateur thing is all in the ethos, and I mean, there was always the expenses culture there, wasn't there? I mean, when I played amateur football, used to have a brown envelope in your thing, and the thing, mine was always a brown envelope, maybe a get well card or something in it. Yeah. Others had a 10 bob note or something like that.
Still, it's
all expenses.
It's a good point you make, and because we're living in a world of retrospective punishment, I'll just write that down. Amateur player paid.
That's
Ruffy. Let's do a story on that.
Big tax case.
Only you could cause controversy in the last 2 minutes of the programme. And here's League Two for you as we move on swiftly. Arbroath against Elgin, Berwick Montrose, Clyde Edinburgh City, Cowdenbeath Forfar and Stirling Albion against Annan Athletic. And just to finish us off here, Oscar, Chelsea could move to the Chinese Super League for £400,000 a week.
Yep, and they're talking about Sanchez has been talked about. They'll pay him $500,000 a week if he fancies it. The money in China is a game changer. What's going to happen with China? Nobody really realises it yet. But they've got £3 billion in European football already. They're going to saturate it with more money. The whole face of European football and what players are going to be paid is going to change so dramatically over the next 2 years. It's going to leave us gasping. Is China in danger of going down the same route as America did in the 70s? It's going to go much further than that. What you've got to realise, the scale of China. China is 10 times population-wise as big as America. They've now said they want it's now sanctioned by the government that football has got to be the national sport. They're all in. They're all in this, and it's a huge economy. The world's gone mad. Footballers are paid astronomical amounts of money at the absolute top end. And Ruffy, you'd never believe it. Dennis Law would be looking at this and wondering what his buyout clause would be. Luis Suarez, £167.5 million buyout clause at Barcelona.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. That's, as you say, that's the way the game's going just now. There's so much happening outside the football as well as on the park. Yeah, absolutely. And once that gets to the pundits as well and they start having buyout clauses, the game and the ball is burst, let me tell you. Big thank you to Hugh McDonald for coming on the programme for the agreed fee. We'll be back with you. Yeah, oh, don't worry, that's a story by the way, Ruffy. Join us tomorrow if you can. Alec Ray, Gordon Smith and Ruffy will be with me from 2 on STV.